project, I decided to focus on Hotel Rwanda. For historical context, Rwanda was colonized and was under the League of Nations mandate of Belgium. When Belgium had made its presence, they decided to separate the Rwandan population into three ethnic groups. The Hutus, which made up 85%, the Tutsis, which made up 14%, and the Twa, which made up 1%. They identified them by looking at the Rwandan skin tones and even went as far as measuring their noses. The Belgians very much favored the Tutsis and put them as the ruling class. This led to jealousy and hatred towards the Tutsis, leading to the Hutu Revolution, which took place in 1959 and forced out around 300,000 Tutsis. Rwanda declared independence from Belgium in 1962 and placed the Hutus into power. Due to the Hutus being in power, it caused a huge spark in jealousy that began to grow within the Tutsi ethnic group. This hatred then led to the civil war, which lasted between 1990 and 1993 between the Rwandan forces, which were mostly made out of Hutus, and the Rebel Patriotic Front, which was a Tutsi rebel group. A man named Habyarimana was placed into power as the president, and he was a Hutu as well. The significance is that the genocide started in the year of 1994 after his plane was shot down in Kigali. No one knows exactly who shot down the plane, but the Tutsis were to blame. Within 3 years of this event, Rwandan armed forces, the Interahamwe, a Hutu militia group, and the Impuzagambi set up blockades and began to slaughter the cockroaches, aka the Tutsis. This genocide lasted for a total of 100 days, and by the end, 800,000 to 1 million people died. Also during this event, 2 million people fled the country of Rwanda to escape death and danger. For historical context, genocides that took place before the Rwandan genocide helped to influence the spread of ethnic cleansing. One of these genocides was the Holocaust, which is one of the most deadliest and well-known genocides throughout history. This genocide was between the Nazi Germans and the Jews. The next genocide was the Bosnian genocide. This event was the Bosnian Serb forces and the Serb-dominated Yugoslav army trying to kill the Bosnian Muslims and Croatian civilians. Lastly, another genocide that took place after the Rwandan genocide, but not far from it, was the Darfur genocide. This genocide was between the Sudanese government and the Darfurians. In all these genocides ended in the killings of thousands up to millions of people due to the differences or hatred of religions, cultures, and/or politics. This film was made in 2004 during the 10th anniversary of the Rwandan government. An event that was actually taking place when the film was being made was the Darfur genocide mentioned in the previous slide. This genocide was taking place in Sudan, another African country. This genocide, like mentioned before, was carried out by the Sudanese government and a group funded by them called the Janjaweed, an Arab militia group. The Janjaweed burned buildings, raped, polluted water, and killed many Darfurians. This genocide was very similar to the Rwandan genocide, and it caused a mass migration and did not get a lot of outside help, just like the UN did not do that much to keep peace within Rwanda. This film's intended audience is for people above the age of 13 due to its horrific violence, but in particular it's towards Europeans or people who are watching on the outskirts of those events, like the foreigners. This film's audience should be people who understand the concepts of what genocide actually is and what ethnic cleansing is doing to people's cultures. This film's audience should also be people who understand the factors that led to this genocide by comprehending the political and cultural jealousy that led to the decision to partake in this event. Lastly, the film should appeal to those who want to help spread the word and raise awareness of genocide, because nowadays and at the time no one really knew what was happening and just sat and watched as thousands of people died. Also, it should show that Europeans what happened due to them not keeping the peace and not making an effort. The purpose of this film was to try to best portray and capture the feelings of stress in the Rwandan people during these scarring moments. It also tried to show how this genocide split and tore up the country as a whole. This film's purpose is to try to spread awareness and to spread the word about these type of topics, which are often hidden and kept away from society due to them being too scary and sad to watch. It is also showing that it is important to get involved as much as you can and to make a difference, even if that means just helping an organization. This film was made in the point of view of both Paul Rusesabagina, the storyteller / the main character in the movie, and Terry George, the director. For Paul Rusesabagina's bias, the film was made based on his stories and memories, and a lot of what he said made people to believe that he had done everything out of the kindness and love of his heart. This film was also made to leave out a lot of the selfish and unhonorable things done by Paul during the actual event. Lastly, the film displays credit that was taken away from other people by following only the story told by Paul. For Terry George's bias, he took on the heroic aspect of Paul. He also helped make the film better for audiences to watch by only including the good things that Paul did. Taking into account that he is also a white Irish man, it made foreigners/whites to seem better and more caring in the movie than they actually were in real life, and made them seem as though they made higher efforts to stop these horrific slaughterings. And lastly, for outside evidence, many people who stay in the hotel say that most parts of the movie are fiction. They claim that Paul used the sufferings and deaths of the Tutsi people for his own profits and benefit. It was also said by many of the people who were actually staying in the hotel during the genocide that Paul would tax and charge Tutsis, and other people who were not able to pay, they would be sent away. This was also not shown too much in the film because it would take away the heroism and the kindness shown in the character of Paul. And lastly, some workers in the hotel claim that Paul turned in a list of Tutsi names to the Hutu radio called the RTLM. That was not shown in the movie either because it totally defeats the purpose of trying to save the Tutsis. It would also damage his reputation within the film.